Afternoon or morning, people. This is the fairing from my 2008 Suzuki Hayabusa. It's the inside of the fairing on the left hand side, as you can see, and generally speaking it's in decent nick. I bought the bike a couple of months ago from a dealer here in Birmingham. Well, not in Birmingham, I'm from Birmingham, but dealer in Oxford. And when I bought it, there was a slight issue with, I'm not sure if you can show you this part here. Okay, so if I can get a better angle, there you go. That is the plastic kind of black trim that covers the gap between the tank and the fairing here. Yeah, and there's a joint, as you can see there, that runs down here all the way. And what happens over time, my bike's 2008, what happens over time is that as you take the fairings off and put them back on again, this joint gets compromised. And the reason why it gets compromised is because they only have these little things as kind of connectors, yeah, that join the big piece to the small piece. And they're not the strongest, they're not the most robust, so as you kind of pull them on and take them off over the years, you know, for servicing and maintenance, it becomes compromised. And this is the actual inside of it where it runs. So this is the top of the black plastic part. This is the actual fairing. Excuse me, that's the fairing there itself. My finger out the way. That's the fairing there itself, that part there. So this connects to that through these little things here. Yeah, and basically what happens is that this hole lines up with this thing here, and there's normally a little lip over the top of this, and that clamps and holds it down, and that gives you a tight kind of finish. Oh, look at that, that's just come off. See, that's how brittle they are. So that gives you a tight finish on the outside here. So this is all nice and tight, it's all nice and flush. But as you know, the fairings come on and they come off over the years, these take a little bit of abuse, and as you can see, this one's just literally just come off in my hand now. They break away. I mean, my bike's 10 years old, so you've got to expect it. It's plastic, it's not the strongest, it's not the most robust. You can see how kind of thin it is, and it causes a problem. So what I've done is today took the fairing off, and I got some of this stuff, which I bought, I think, from Halfords, and mixed it together, cut a chunk off, mixed it together, and all I did was set it here, pushed the piece up as far as it would go, so I didn't have this gap here. Close that gap down, and then what I did, holding it down, or whilst holding it down, was put the putty adhesive on there, and I had to hold it for about 3 or 4 minutes whilst this started to set off and harden. And now it's almost hard. It sets off as you know, as well, apparently they say it's stronger steel, but it sets off quite hard. So it should keep the black piece, which is this piece, pressed up against here, and not have any of that horrible gap that looks as though, you know, your fairing's damaged or broken and whatever else it may be. I don't think, to be honest with you, the Hayabusas, or the fairings inside the Hayabusas, have changed over the years. They've kept them the same, which for me, you know, if they've put like a screw point here, they could have put another screw point there, you know, and they've got another screw point here as well. So I don't understand why they've done it like this, because, you know, your bike's going to get serviced, it's going to have a 3,000 mile service, it's going to have a 16,000 mile service, whatever the intervals are, and, you know, these are going to come off, and they're going to go back on again, and as they come off and as they go off, go on, it's going to compromise the integrity of that little plastic bit. You know, as you've seen, it was only a little tiny thing, and it's going to end up breaking. And when it breaks, then it makes, you know, your fairing look ugly, and it takes away from the look of the bike. So that's an easy fix for anybody who's probably experiencing a similar kind of problem. I'll probably put a little bit more of that epoxy on here, actually, to be honest with you, to cover that gap. That part there, as you can see. There's nothing there now, it's completely broken. But I'll see how it looks, and then I'll put another video up once it's all done to show you how it looks.